Some color or something. Yeah, I definitely feel like I need to get it off my bookshelf. Yeah. I could yeah, paying attention to see where anything else now? My tool was the X-Man, you don't pressure powers on it. I don't see the virus, but yeah, it's a mutation. But I think the T-virus. Yeah, that's I don't want that. No. Just change it. So that's to workarounds, yeah. Right. Meanwhile, bridging the gaps between the species.
How are you? I'm good, Shona. Good, your hair is so cool. It's the last week's lunch. I'm going to have to give it up now. That's the point. Yeah. 3 years. I know. How's everything with you? Yeah, right away. I'm very sorry that standing. Yeah. To give away the winner and 5 words. So they're very nice. You're here, let me change the color. Thanks, yeah, I was the backside and it's people have been saying all nice things about it. And it's mad, I was curious trying to find the colours that suits the lovely colour. Yes, yeah. 3 times probably a drink. I know, and I remember last time, so I was like, that happened to her as well last time. No. How are you? How are you? Gorgeous. How are you? Yeah. Wet up there. I have my one indoors. I have my zoo at home. Zoo. 2 dogs and a cat. Yeah, it's nice, but they're constantly away. It's a lot expensive that they because of they have this vibing, you know. I'd love to have are we live? Is it okay? Yeah.
What would I like for you? Sorry, we're about to start there, if you don't mind.
Hey, party poetry people. 178 of Wales, and this is our 14th hybrid event. And the event has 4 parts, and we just saw one part, which is our poetry films. We will now go into our 5-word challenge. After that, we have 2 wonderful guest poets, Jane Eyre and Maurice Scully, and then we will have an open mic where if you would like to perform on the mic, you can get opportunities to do so. We also have people joining us online on Zoom. We can't see them right now, but they are there, and they will be joining us also. So please be aware that the event is recorded and will be available to revisit as an MP3 podcast and on video via our social media channels. So with that in mind, we will begin the 5-word challenge. How it works is we take 5 random words from the audience, and you have 15 minutes to compose a poem or a short piece of fiction or any piece of writing, and you can come up and perform it if you like. And the winner is chosen by the person who gets the loudest applause or who gets the most votes on Zoom. It's like a hybrid, so both those things are taken into account. And the winner of the 5-word challenge will get some books that we have here. And if you are in the room, you will get a free drink at the bar. Or if you are online, you can get a drink in your fridge. So, without further ado, could I please have a word?
Morning.
Warning.
Pajamas.
Warning. Pajamas.
Lights.
Lights.
Dust.
Dust.
Cat.
I'm after missing one. Warning, pajamas. Lights.
Refulgent.
We had dust. We had dust here.
Yeah.
Refulgent.
That's 6. I think we have 5, but I just didn't hear one of them.
The last one was cat.
Cat. Thank you, but thank you though. So I think these ones just got in ahead of you there. So it's warning, pajamas, lights, dust, cat, and if you would like to add in refunded for maybe an extra bonus point, feel free to do so. But the 5 official words. The 5 official words are warning, pajamas, lights, dust, and cat. And your 15 minutes begins now.
Shit. see there now. Let's see what it is here.
Morning. Like, yeah, just.
Okay.
4 minutes? Go like this. Doesn't work. Will I say something about it? Yeah. Let's say that's 15 minutes. Right, so folks, that's about 15 minutes. So now I'll invite you, if you'd like to come up and read what you just wrote. You're very welcome to. If you could just tell me your name when you come up, that would be great, if I don't know you. And we'll also have people joining us from Zoom. So without further ado, the microphone is open. Pongo. Great, so first up we have Pongo.
Hello everybody. I'm happy to be here. I hope everyone is doing well. My name is Pongo. This is called 30 minutes late. 30 minutes late, out the pajamas, he slid that past the cat like lightning, only to turn back because the lights were on. Then he heard pow, 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 lights off. He was dust on the pavement because the hoodie made him look suspicious, said the sergeant's report. Peace.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Great job. Awesome. Next up. Fran. Yes.
Thank you. Dream. Walk. In a drizzled night. Pajamas pants and a yellow jacket with warning written in the back in red letters. Shadows elongate in the gold lemon streetlights. the thousand cat eyes, dust the carriageway, glimmer like star dust that flowered the night horizon. And I miss the stars. The moon fights the pollution to glow through, and most of all, I miss sleep. Thanks.
Cool, thanks, Bill. Next up, Daniel.
As a warning, you might not want to leave. When the bed is warm and your pajamas are softly sitting right, not riding up after a night of tossing in anticipation. So for now, it's peaceful. There's no need to rush into the morning. Just let the sun rise and find joy in the cat chasing the dust dancing and the lights leaking through the blinds. When the time comes, you'll be ready to leave.
Lovely, thank you very much. Great stuff. Jean?
My cat's pads pressed into the lap of my pajamas. Mental alarm lights flash back to warnings against this kind of morning warming. They say you must not trust her soft fuzz, it's full of dust. I'm caught between my asthma and the fact that her claws are at least twice again as long as my pajamas are thick. And when the clock fuses lit, tick, tick, tick.
Cool, thanks. Great stuff.
I'm John.
John.
It was one of those glorious afternoons when nestling under covers and watching screens of some sort were all that was on my agenda. The sun slid down my living room wall, illuminating all the dust fairies as they fluttered judgmentally. I concluded my pajamas were clean enough to endure a second night, and the lights never went on. I deserved this day. I needed it. For the first time since her death, I felt free, truly free. And that's when, without warning, the cat shit on my floor.
Great, thank you so much. Okay, thank you so much. Great. Great. I take this too. Am I cooking?
Right, I'm Sue, and this is Sue Blue's Little Zoo. I wake to the purring of a tiny black tiger cat bouncing across my body. Morning lights douse the room in pastels, oranges, pinks. I wipe the sleep from my eyes as dust my stance on the zooming paws, pitter-pattering and poking every nook and cranny. My hungry cat or pillar has his warning eyes on, ears sideways, fur fluffed, attacking my toes as I tap for socks, blowing up my pajama pants just before I drop them to get dressed. When I lift him up, he seeks my eyes, purring, giving me a huge cat hug before I walk him down the stairs on my shoulder into the living room zoo. The two dogs greeting us, jumping, all only one thing in mind: breakfast.
Great, thanks, Sue. Anybody in the Starship Enterprise? What's your name?
Phil.
No. Michael.
It is. This quick one is called Gutter Night.
I wore my half-dead granny's pajamas like a psychopath black Christmas cat. The marmalade orange lights a crossing, the sleeping numbness of Cork. Refulgently were staring on Granny's dusty ashes now, which I flung accidentally outside Long Valley's mist. Warning, this poem is sadder than the homeless man who came a-strolling, searching for a roll-up dry, weighing no more than a KFC meal. Out of the gutter he fucking came. Thank you.
What's your name?
Ryan.
Right.
Right, this one is called Torrid Roulette. Into the stream of shattered rock and ubiquitous dust, our planet careers with joyous disregard. Lights flare, swarms of cat eyes flash warning, bright, hot, hazard beware. Don't cross the path of more bulky beasts lurking in the night, lest we find ourselves under the smiting paw of these threatening brutes. We stand and watch, wishing, agog, a civilization in pajamas, under the Catherine wheel display, a flickering popcorn bursting sensuous spectacle, delighting in the refulgent dance of dust and rock, forgetting the reality of gravity and extinction.
Thanks very much, Ryan. I didn't know the microphone. That's why.
Yeah, sorry, I should go back down.
Awesome. Any other takers? Jim?
Weather warning, cyclones. We touch our way through darkness. Novelty birthday candles sing creepy songs. We blow dust off the champagne glasses, fill them with Fanta, celebrate nothing, absolutely nothing, in silk pajamas. Our cat attacks the strings. In the languid darkness, the moist night, I pray that light never comes.
Very nice. Oh.
Sleepy. 1, 2. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
Oh, sweet. Sorry, I just couldn't hear it up here at all. Sleepy bee alights, furry feline forelimb, gives a dusty leg a shake. Without warning, Ginger readjusts. He suddenly is thoroughly pulled in. After the initial drama, warming to the warm embrace, the cat's knees become Bee's pajamas.
What's your name? Felix.
Lost amid eons of nebulae, light years of separation and cosmic dust scattered endlessly beyond my reach. And here I sit, warmed by a refulgent fireplace, pajama soft and accompanied by none but a single two-headed cat. No thought as to the void stretching out beyond, no inclination to broaden those horizons which do limit my journey. Yet sat here, not a soul to judge, nor warning to heed, I am as boundless and unreachable as any telescope-bound star, science fiction planet, or other lonely thing. A soft existence, perhaps, in timeless memory remembered, but a life lived, nonetheless alone.
Thank you so much. All these poems are so cozy. I wish we had a fireplace. Cats everywhere. Anybody else?
It's called Warning. Enthralled for metropolis, my personal apocalypse. I explore your city without lights. A black cat stands in the shadow of our love. I touch a hair of its quivering tail for luck. A soft hail falls like dust, rhymes the intensity of us. This is guerrilla love. My feet crack footpaths with white heat and desire. 3 billboards light up with the same message. Warning, warning, warning. This girl does not wear pajamas.
Cool. Good. Anybody else?
Nice.
Oh, Max is joining us from Zoom. You're on mute, Max.
Slow here at home tonight. Erudite T.S. Eliot issued the poem star a written warning. His faded old theatre cat must be prepared. Dear Gus, soon you must don a mottled coat of fake fur, dust your whiskers in talc, grease paint and croak and purr to luxuriate in the limelight. For your show will run for many years with Mr. Webber. Yawn through years for many decades and well beyond the next millennium, you will star in a film, covert and drawl and stella light, and be a star, where even Dame Judi Dench will come to clench with embarrassment, for this, dear Gus, will be a flop. Well, Master Eliot, I demur. I am far, far happier retiring here with you, enclosed within this old poem, Old Possum's Book of Cats. It suits me well, for I am rather old, and one forum will do quite well for my story of Gus to be told. So that's about Gus the theatre cat.
Thanks very much. Do we have somebody else from Zoom? No.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
E.E. Chandler.
E.E. Chandler.
Good evening. A cat needs no warning for when the lights go out. Like tonight when I go to bed alone, reach out and switch them off and find myself in a pajama-less zone now that you're gone. The absence feels good. Tomorrow, with only a cat for company, I will sweep up and sweep out the last dust of you. Thank you.
Anybody else in the room? Cedric?
Ready. This white cat has bucked up its fur and under a car rolled itself into a bowl. Sorry, I'll start off. This white cat has bucked up its fur and under a car rolled itself into a bowl, like a discarded pajama in the corner of the room, ready for the cold, already dozing off. A grey cover slowly creeps over the lights of the colorful sky at dusk. Loaded clouds menacing, without the warnings of unstable winds. The air is heavy, still, enveloping everything, while the dust lifted earlier during the day has finally triggered the snowball.
Thanks, Cedric. Anybody else from Zoom?
No.
Anybody else in the room?
What's your name? Ayres. No, my name's Ayres. Bear with me, because I have a lot of screws here. So I might have to pause moments to make sense of what I've written. But the desire to buy a cat from Russia was a warning. I believed it to be as reasonable as going to the local shop for a packet of crisps. And when I observed myself in the mirror, I thought I may be unbelievably beautiful, unnaturally so. The fact that my under eyes were bruised with 5 sleepless nights didn't quench this delusion. The irony of wearing pajamas yet lying awake buzzing like a busy hive was entirely lost on me. And when I spoke of this incredible Russian cat to my cousin, she convinced me. When I spoke of this incredible Russian cat to my cousin, she convinced me to go to A&E, which might as well have been some fantastical hero's adventure in my mind that had stretched outside of reality. When the taxi arrived, it could have been a horse and carriage. Passing flashing lights were saturated like that switch from color to black and black and white to color in The Wizard of Oz. When the dust of my mania settled, I was alone, crying like a forgotten child in the waiting room, full of broken ankles. And that's all as far as I got.
Thank you so much. Thanks. Okay, so anybody else in the room? No. Anybody else on the Zoom? That's it? Okay, I must input all this data into a very technical algorithm. So just bear with me. Contact Silicon Valley. Is there votes from?
Just do you want to ask them again? Type no to.
Could the people on Zoom put in the names of the people that you would think should win? Sorry, I'll rephrase that. Oh yes, if the people on Zoom could put in the name of the person that they want to win the 5-word challenge, that would be great. Now we'll see if that computer. Loading, buffering.
Do you have your?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
Nancy? Okay, I've only got one vote, so.
Okay. Okay. Okay, so the computer has reported back and taking in all factors of oohing and awing, etc., and applause, I think the winner of this evening, whilst everybody was absolutely fabulous, it makes me want to adopt a cat. The winner, I believe, is Ryan. So give it up for Ryan. So you go and read the poem again, if you will, and then you will win these books here, and you will get a free drink at the bar courtesy of the Ryan.
This is amazing. I added 2 words, is that all right?
Huh?
I added 2 words, is that okay?
Oh, I'm sure.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay. Corin Roulette.
As I can take out one of the
Okay.
words.
Are we ready for apocalypse again, guys? Okay, right. Into the stream of shattered rock and ubiquitous dust our planet careers with joyous disregard. Lights flare, swarms of cat eyes flash warning. Hot, hazard, beware. Don't cross the path of more bulky beasts lurking in the night. lest we find ourselves under the smiting paw of these threatening brutes. We stand and watch, wishing, agog, a civilization in pajamas, under the Catherine wheel display, flickering popcorn bursting into sensuous spectacle, delighting in the refulgent dance of dust and rock, forgetting the inexorable pull of gravity and extinction.
Thanks very much, Ryan, and thank you very much to everybody who gave us your words. That was amazing. So thank you very much, and you can get your drink at the bar. Okay, so now we're moving into the second part of the evening, third part of the evening, my apologies. And before we begin, there's just a few announcements to make. So Ovail aims to maintain a safe space for writers and attendees and subscribes to the Arts Council Equality, Diversity and Inclusion Policy. We ask participants to maintain respectful when communicating and to report any offensive behaviour to Ovail. So the 10 to 5 Words International Poetry Competition continues, and the words go online every Tuesday, but as you're here you get a sneak peek. And the words for the 15th to the 22nd of November are steel, tadpole, soften, ignore, glaze. Steel, tadpole, soften, ignore, and glaze. This event is recorded and will be available to revisit as an MP3 podcast and on video via vimeo.com/Ovail. And for our end of year event on Monday, 12th of December, Ovail's guest is Michael Longley.
Oh, nice.
So we also have a very exciting weekend coming up at the end of this month. It is the Winter Warmer Festival. That is Ovail's 10th Winter Warmer Festival. Woohoo! The program, it will appear online in the next week or so. It's online now, actually. So it's here.
It's on the tables.
It's on the tables. Wow, we're moving through time in real time. It's a hybrid festival at Nanonagle Place. All events are free except for the All Ireland Poetry Slam on Sunday the 27th at 3 p.m. Tickets for that are available via Eventbrite. You can search Ovail, and that is going to be a fabulous afternoon, and I recommend everybody come join us for that just these poets fight for their lives. So please let us know also if you'd like to volunteer at the festival, because that would be good. Thank you to everyone who has kindly offered donations. The donation jar is under the horse's head here. If we could get that popping, that would be great. We can pass it around. If you are a bard with only a card, you can make PayPal donations, and they can be made via the link above the live poetry stage on our website or via our contact page, which is www.ie/blog/contact us. Or if you just go onto Ovail's website and navigate those waters yourself, you will find it. Great. So without further ado, we have our guest poets for the evening. Firstly, we will be joined by Jane Ayres via Zoom. Jane is a UK-based neurodivergent writer who rediscovered poetry studying for a part-time creative writing MA at the University of Kent, which she completed in 2019 at the age of 57. She is fascinated by hybrid poetry / prose experimental forms and has worked in many publications, including Lighthouse, Street Cake, The North, Ubu, Macro, The Wall Press, Pro, Minerva, Magma, Cell Calculation, and The Forge. In 2020, she was longlisted for the Rebecca Swift Foundation Women's Poets Prize. In 2021, her poem Neurodivergent Cake Dream was nominated for Best of the Net. I don't know. She was shortlisted for the Aesthetic Creative Writing Award and winner of the Lawrence Stern Prize. Her first collection, Edible, was published by Bear Brewer Press in July 2022. Her micro chapbook, My Lost Womb Still Sings to Me, is published by Pork Belly Press in late 2022 or 23. And for more about Jane, visit janeayreswriter.wordpress.com, and please give it up for Jane Ayres.
Sorry, I'm not very good at this. Good evening, everybody. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah.
Oh, great. Okay. Well, thank you very much for inviting me to share my poetry. I haven't done this very often, so I'm a little bit nervous at the moment. But I'll get started. Most of the poems that I'll be reading come from the collection Edible, which is published by Bear Boer. And there's a kind of a theme that runs through the poems, well, called Edible: food, family, memories, and the way those things connect and interconnect. So I will start with a poem called Edible Memories. Edible memories. The heart honeycombed, fingering fermentation, fruiting footprints, nibbling small talk, words dangling, the quiet flux, sugaring hope, digesting a little piece, unfolding a little piece of clotted expectation, lemony moments of sticky sweet joy. This indelible banquet, apple pie warm, feast your eyes, take a bite. The next poem is called, thank you. I keep being told you've got to slow down, breathe. The next poem is called Mutant Muffins. I never could follow a recipe. In school cookery class, my layered Victoria sponge cake resembled a sunken Yorkshire pudding. I forgot to add sugar. Dyspraxia undiagnosed for another 40 odd years. Still a liability in the kitchen. I'm a trier, mashing up multiple recipes, changing ingredients prescribed, producing batches of cocoa and cinnamon muffins that shapeshift in their tulip greaseproof paper cases. Tops split open like an erupting volcano, leaking molten chocolate lava. Culinary carnage. Another brisk walk to M&S. Blueberry muffins or choccino, factory made, a perfectly formed pack of 4. Thank you. The next poem is called Bread And. When I was growing up in the 60s and 70s, bread was a pretty huge part of our diet. We had just about anything you could put on bread we had in our family. My granddad used to like bread and butter with salt sprinkled on it, and I had an auntie whose favourite was sugar sandwiches. So you name it, we'd put it in between a couple of slices of bread. So bread and jam. Jars of sticky preserved jewelled fruit lined up on the cupboard shelf. Strawberry, pineapple, apricot, mixed fruit, gooseberry, blackcurrant, raspberry. Memories of growing up in the 1960s and 70s spread on thin white slices, cotton wool soft, the processed loaf packaged in that familiar Mother's Pride greaseproof wrapper. Many years later, beside the hospital bed where our mum lay after the catastrophic stroke, she tells us she craves a slice of bread and jam, and I'm reminded how when we were kids, she also spooned strawberry jam onto cold Yorkshire pudding, a favourite dessert, and pancakes, stirred it into semolina, rice pudding, turning creamy milk puddings, like childhood memories, cupcake pink. Marmalade. Like wholemeal bread, a bit posh, so reserved for breakfast toast in holiday B&Bs. Tomato sauce, resembling oozing stage blood when squished in folded bread, a staple savoury after-school sandwich while watching Scooby-Doo. Salt and vinegar flavoured crisps, layered thickly between two buttered slices. Oh, the crackle and crunch spearing our salmony gums. Bread, a thread, back to what was, who was. If bread was a poem, it would be family. Thank you. The next two poems, also family. The first one is called On the Idiosyncrasies of Heritage. My glorious godmother, your oldest sister Annie, passed years before you. I adopted her milkless, sugarless tea habit as my own, share her middle name, her childless status. We apologise for our grief, or rather the display of it. After we lost you, beloved Patricia Ellen, your favourite heady-scented freesias, lilac, lemon, white, became my preferred flowers. I peel a rectangle of grief from the bones. One of your 14 siblings, your last surviving sister was Brenda, wisdom blessed, my second mum, until cancer claimed her too. I'd always hated the ugly taste of the ginger biscuits she loved. Now they're my favourites. Grief swells, sonorous, lit. The three of you, so close, strong, vibrant women, a rare and glittering constellation. In the mirror, I see you all in me, this strange genetic history. Thank you. The next poem is about my dad, my late dad, and it's called Dad's Docky Bag. And docky is an East Anglian word that means lunch, which is carried in the docky bag. So, Dad's Docky Bag. Bags once crafted from smooth hand-woven straw, kept in their place by a wide buckled strap, carried the weight of social status, rights hard won by agricultural fen labourers to lunch breaks without docked pay. Now cut from heavy canvas, yours contains docky, lovingly prepared by mum. Faded blue Tupperware, packed with doughy white mother's pride, cotton wool soft, margarine squares, sandwiching pink luncheon meat or mottled hayslip, nestles beside a flask of milky tea. A day of taxing physical labour awaits, where repurposed fenland sustains Kingsdyke brickworks. Like father, brothers, friends, you have served your apprenticeship, attending evening classes at the local technical college to become a skilled craftsman, a master of bricks. Working shirtless, weathered skin, sun-baked oak bark, your tar-thick thatch of coal-black hair won't be tamed by Brill cream. When you ride the 5 miles home on your trusty push bike, brick dust has infiltrated clothes, flesh, scalp, eyes, nose, lungs. The Whittlesea kilns never dropped below 90 degrees Fahrenheit, firing continuously from 1923 to 79 to produce bricks from clay layered more than 150 million years ago. You lived a mere 72, but I imagine your gentle genetic imprint stoically marking the fabric of Jurassic clay. The bricks you made, creating houses, homes for generations to come. Love ignites in my bones, burns red hot, firing continuously, scorching through my lunch break. Docky consumed, I returned to work. Thank you. This poem is the last one in my edible collection from Bear Boer. For anyone who can't see, I'm going to show you the cover because Michelle designed the cover and it's the most beautiful cover, and I was just so happy to have this published. It's my first collection, so it means the world. So this is the last poem in edible, and then I'm just going to read a few from a new collection that I'm working on at the moment. So first of all, this is the final one in edible. There is still space in the basket, /spoilers. We are all memory-stained cellophane, wrapping ourselves in the confetti weave of broken dolls, quelling unquenched thirst, dislodging, distorting, picking up the scent in a dark, silent room, keeping the eggs warm. Milky sunshine, glissando words, what pastry dust failed to show us. Dancing with ghosts, cupcake pink, creatured, making it new. I give you my heart on a plate, custard yellow with a rosebud pattern, recurring, recurring, recurring. Never look back. Unfurling, we are softer now, molten red, gauzy lidded, hungry for colour. The eye sees what it wants to see, and next week will be a week of somethings. Thank you. So the final few poems are from a collection that I'm working on at the moment. The first one's called Nobody Listened. Do you like what you see, what they saw, or does it require more seasoning? Tell me again the story of how she was neglected, abandoned, locked away, forgotten, unable to leave the house, and no one listened. So jammy loops of words, syllables snaking, kept her company, kept her safe, until she became visible once more. But it was already too late, and although she was granted freedom to leave the house, she was unable to leave the house. So she wrote stories instead, wafers of memory, unwrapping susurration, unfolding rapture. Because the words, true companions, those honeyed constellations, had never deserted or condemned her, every trickling consonant and glossy vowel licking vociferous shadows. Next one's called These Shadow Lips. Parched, I am holding you in the palm of my hand, spoon-fed, something shining in the mud. I saw you and wanted you. Or was it really me wanting you to want me? The difference is crucial but easily overlooked. Acts ripple down the generations, splitting the pod. Undigested grief never gets smaller. So you have to open yourself up, make yourself bigger around it. The sound it makes, a jumble of jam-packed treasure hunts, kissing it better. The words sliding out, growing your own demons, your blue eyes sky soft, and I am scattered, indivisible, picking at threads. We are all wandering in the dark, always wandering, waiting for the fog to lift. Colours that dance, a girl singing. The next poem is called My Vulva and I Used to Be Friends. But these days we barely speak, hardly acknowledge each other's existence, and I miss our chats, me squatting on the bathroom floor, you reflected back in the mirror, propped between my thighs, open wide, checking all areas remain operational, in full working order, ready for action. Now I can't bring myself to look. Once, guests were regularly invited to enter the vestibule, come inside and stay a while. You've changed. Of course you have, so have I. I used to enjoy prodding and poking, but since estrogen, obliterated, left the building, skin thins and tears, lips rip and snag, paper cuts, and I'm violet. Here, there's just two more poems. The next one is one of my ranty poems. I do get quite ranty and they find expression in some poems. So this one's called Freedoms. An SUV, more at home on safari than in tight urban streets, blocks the pavement, and I feel familiar anger rising, exchange vitriolic words with an oblivious driver, and in return, I'm a slag, slut, bitch for daring to challenge testosterone. Like the time that bully was making your life a misery when we were kids, so I hit him. Like when you were being sexually assaulted in a club and I slapped the perpetrator and got thrown out. How dare a girl, a woman? And my anger solidifies, the weight of it. But words are not fists. And although I don't wish him harm, I do. If I was Wolverine, I'd relish dragging surgical sharp steel talons along his shiny pride and joy, hastily dissolve the image in mental acid as slices of memory resurface like an erupting volcano, of negotiating carelessly parked cars, having to push your wheelchair over undropped curbs, jolting your fragile bones, jarring sensitive nerve endings into the path of screaming, speeding traffic. Because selfish drivers behave like their freedom matters more than pavement users or anyone else. Although I doubt this mental sequence is processed or even considered. And if they lost their sight or their mobility, perhaps they might perceive the world differently, but no point arguing. So I step away, my anger burning a hole in my chest. Tell myself things will get better, but I know they won't, because some humans are selfish tossers. And the lesson learned is lessons are never learned. And I think they should put that on my headstone. Thank you. Right, this is the last poem. And thank you so much for listening to my poetry. This last one is called There's a Ghost in My House. Although I didn't realise at first, until I saw it by chance after leaving for work one morning, and something made me turn, look up. There she was, framed in my bedroom window, smiling and waving, waving and smiling. Startled, I ran back along the path, unlocked the door, raced up the stairs, heart pounding, fearful, curious. Flung open the bedroom door, but the space was empty, so I must have imagined it. However, since then, I see her often in the same place, but only when I go out, like we're sharing the house. She never leaves a trace, and eventually I've got used to her being there. But yesterday, walking home from work, I began to notice others staring through windows on every street, sometimes just a faint silhouette or half shadow, a fragile thread of presence. Sometimes clear and strong, with sword-sharp edges, which was more disturbing, and I struggled to make sense of it until I realised we all share our homes with ghosts, and if you don't believe me, next time you leave your house and walk away, look back. You'll see them watching you, smiling and waving, waving and smiling. Thank you.
That was wonderful. Congratulations on getting your first publication, and we look forward to the new one.
Shauna.
Oh, sorry, you're here. But congratulations on your first publication, and we look forward to your chapbook, which will be out in late 2022 or 23, and you can find out more about Jane on her website, janeairwriter.wordpress.com. And thank you very much again for joining us. That was really wonderful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. So we're lucky enough to have another poet with us this evening, and our next poet is Maurice Scully. And Maurice was born in Dublin in 1952. He has had many books published over the decades. Most recently, Things That Happened, Chairman's Books 2020, Playbook, Coracle Press 2019, and Ayres, Shearsman 2022. A book of essays on his work appeared in 2020, A Line of Tiny Zeros in the Fabric, edited by Ken Keating, and that's Shearsman 2020. He is a recipient of the Macaulay and the Patrick and Catherine Kavanagh Fellowships. And please give a round of applause for Maurice. Well done.
I'm going to read from a book that came out in 2019 from Coracle Press, Playbook. And all the pieces in this book are titled, and all the titles begin with P, the spirit of play. It's also a book of strategies. Can I ask you not to clap after each piece if you don't mind, and at the end, if you feel I deserve it, by all means, clap away. Now, I need to see what I'm doing. Yeah. Oh God, not steamed up. No. My books, I don't collect. I hammer, chisel, sand, destroy, and stitch together again, but I don't write collections. I work by motifs and threading them together, so I don't refer to poems. I don't even like the word poem. I can't use my own work because it's inaccurate. Yeah, thanks, Paul. Actually, I brought my own, so but I might have enough. I might have enough light here.
Okay.
I might. Sorry. Where was I? Yes. So I work by motifs, and I'll explain a bit of that later. Okay. So I'll read a few little pieces from Playbook. Now. Path. A dog came up the steps with a tennis ball in its mouth to shake itself dry. On my way back from the disused lighthouse at the head of the pier, I notice now he's still there and alone, and nosing the ball in quick, crafty shifts towards the edge, then grabbing it back in its mouth several times, just in time, until he lets the ball quite deliberately slip over and fall down again into the water. Again, the future conciliates. And so our dog is in the water again after the ball. Now, good dog. Okay, let's see. Plot. Concentrating on a single serif on stretched vellum, collecting at the bottom of sense and dissipating in a fine mist, fibre over time, in the cold, on an island, in the sea, among stones, wind, sheep, blood. Sleep now, little baby, and believe. In this strange world you say you live in, that partitions, doors, ceilings, glass, that one walnut, one pebble, one acorn cup, that to feed or nest in trees, to meet other birds and mate, to drink, to rest, to sit on their eggs, to feed on the ground, to feed their young. This is my bird's land, that too, and lay down among the violence of it all, lay down a thread. I'm of an age where I've written a great deal, published a great deal, and you do get at this stage a sense of glut, which is not a comfortable creative feeling. So I asked myself, maybe I should stop. And then, of course, I wrote about that in a piece called Pared, as in pared down, P-A-R-E-D. A can on a table, its label torn beside an apple with a bit gone just here, comma. Red, green, brownish, sugary curlicues. Drop of coffee sliding over a cup's lid, gathering at its base. Quiet. Ripple in the palm leaves. Pot pendant from the spent flower. Burst of buddleia, snakes of bindweed, tickle of daisies, undersplash of cyclamen, froth of apple blossom, clustered on purple, white, green wings on tight florets, crisp heaps in corners, leaves and shadows, all that. Stones settled down into feeders underground. Then a feeling growing of water is one of the wonderful things. Light mist on the window, clear surface, weeds instigate inkling, all chilling and more mistakes, but a woman true take that feeling and the feeling growing. Oh God, of having powerless, written quite enough at your age now, thank you. Splash, go colours.
as they hit surface at force out of the blue, snowberry, dock, nettle, haw, talking to you, listening to, or waiting to, or and or I, if, then, oh. In a short oral presentation, of course, I can't really show you the interconnections. They're written for the reader, really. So all of that is melts away in a short oral presentation. But anyway, this is for poet Lee Harwood. If you don't know him, go to him. He played with coherence all his life, especially from the middle work to the end. He died a few years ago, and this is in his memory. It's partly in his style. Pass. Or lifted the rock and set it down by the door, drew back the bolt on the gate, set the limestone block on the ground, a slight vibration, that pipe underground, bringing to mind too that pipe underground. Was this for you? Rocks cloud the view, a stream, sky between trees and stones, and the grassy bank, some mushrooms pushed up cold, damp, pale to pick and eat. An insect on a grass blade lying low, leaves by a window that tickle the glass. Slip your fingertip into an acorn cup, footsteps fading down the lane in the dark. Cut. I was gripping my little silver nail clippers to snip and snap and get ready for the day. Almost uine, uin, boha. You know how it is. Living is intimately complicated, move by move, down the stairs, down by the steel rails, dropping a pen in time. Somebody wants to talk to somebody for sure. Somebody clearly echoing around the building, clearly dearly, typo, dearly wants to heart on tongue, whine, praise, backstab, squabble. Can we do it the easy way? Threaten, nettle, connive, persuade, impress, postpone, speculate, inspire, hiss into your face for the way back, hiss into your face for the very heck of it, and echo. Little bits of plaster clinging to little bits of crystalline lattices that fit in the whole decoration of the world around which oxygen rivers, pass a window, step. Then pocket again this dense speck, the steady voice of realism, its metallic spring, its blade, its poise, its space, its limit and feel, and take care, but take it. Reaching up to pick an apple from a tree, twigs tickling the skin on the back of the hand, sunlit patches on the arm, pulsing body of a wasp, someone hammering something happily in another garden, all day while light lasts, flickers and clips, all day, a dog barking in the yard next door, magpies landing by the cat food, a siren in the distance, now audible, now gone, now back again, but faintly, reaching right up to this fruit through the mottled light at the top, shadowing your still papers to set it down there once and for all by the pen on your desk and the cup. Fifth, a dog came up the steps with a ball in its mouth and shook itself dry. Then he put the bowl down carefully on the pier and began to nose it towards the edge, grabbing it back before it fell over into the water. Nobody on the pier seemed to notice it. Nobody seemed to be with it. The dog was absorbed in its game. The day was absorbed in itself. After several little runs like this, combined with quick retrievals, the dog, it was no accident, let the ball roll over and fall down again into the water. Then he jumped in after the ball with a great splash. Different rules, different game, different winners. There are laws and there are accidents, one more powerful than the other. And there may be general laws of accident prediction. What in this case, what in this context does accident mean? So that each drop falling over the history of life laughs as it lands to break on water, dog, ball, stone, interpretation. For whom then is the record made? Who dominate, who persuade? and for how long? And what is the truth? Out there, where, how? An idea came up the steps with another idea in its mouth and shook itself dry. Now, okay, that's the playbook. Now, a few little bits from Ayres, which is my most recent book, came out from Shearsman this spring. And Ayres, of course, with the motif of music and titles. Great, fantastic. Love it. Thank you. I'm 10 years younger. So titles like Scales and Do Re Mi and Song and Traditional Lyre and so on. There's also some motif of winds, storm, wind and breeze and so on. Scales. Crumpled paper napkin with a base pattern of gardening implements. Their names in pale ink. Pale circular coffee stains where a cup was placed repeatedly. 17. Great floppy racemes dangling from every branch, drenched in scent over the surface of a pond dotted with petals, where fish ripples as they land ripple upside down cloud wisps sliding past in warm air. Fixed on a flatbed offset press using hand-drawn positives on translucent plastic, you dip this piece here, then twist that, mix and start. Now, is that a mistake? Pen pauses over paper. Does that feeling grab you deep inside and send you reeling where your love can't hide and then go stealing through the flatten it? Work that math square until it gets to left to dark, spiky, angular, splotched. It's your birthday again, far, far in the future, and you're ghosting your way back past the temple of the puny penis, church of the scaredy cat art, chapel of the 5 miserly mistakes, bladder senna, incense dust, scroll fragments, gravy trains, slow-flowing traffic through Baroque hyper splashes towering over an arterial avenue, gigantic crystal pyramids of glinting logic in the distance, just to say hi. Map. There are three pieces entitled Map. Map 1, 2, and 3. Vertebrae, skull bits, dog bones, pig. Our plastic brains, mitten, art, pen, notebooks, desk, heater humming in the dead of winter, and so on down to sip to the beat of a single drop, dot mid-air into the sink top, tea under the window. Rubble adjustments, honey profits, love shares. Keep, amass, grip. You are here. The wind hits the wall holds the wind licks, kisses, bites every crevice, every smooth bit, hard, pause and hard again. The wall stays put in this is its song. This is not the end of anything, this is a song, dark and a glitter of yellow streetlights. An owl's face so designed, they say, as to catch the sound of its prey, its silent ABC flight, to help it, hear it in the dark glass down there, not so much as not to be heard as word. I used to think, we all know about the owl's silent flight, that it was so that its prey wouldn't hear it, but actually it's to facilitate the owl's excellent hearing, listening to its prey rumbling out of the glass. And finally, Map 3. When my brother died suddenly, I read the 2 books he had been reading at the time, to finish them for him, from his bedside table. Curiously, or not, I knew both writers, I mean personally, and finally from Ayres, a little sonnet-like piece. I've been mucking around with sonnet-like pieces for a very long time, so I don't care so much about sonnets really at all, but I'm interested in other writers' interest in form, fossilizing in a way. To me, form is very mobile, beautiful. Frame. Trees drop raindrops bigger than previously, though the rain has stopped. Vertical too, look up. Pellets of their cloud love plummet to your moving boot top to splash into bits on the grass. One hits your face, cold, and the trees laugh you into place, and down the back of your neck, in the shadows to the fibrous roots, feeling the impossible happen in the plot long ago. If you don't know the language, then tough luck, stand back. And I'll finish from a few bits from a work in progress that has little prose pieces among the lyrical work that I think of framed for myself as first from Note. As a boy at the farm, he played every day with water, what he called his stream. A stretch of rain draining down a hill in a boreen to the side of the house, leading down to the lake and meadows beyond. Its small sounds, pools, falls, smells, light flickerings, sparkling patterns of flow, his child fingers busy with pebbles and grass and the cool fluid, each inch of difference in it, combined a hypnotic delight. Dark mud soft between toes. Nice. Nice. Narrative. When he returned to the city for the winter, his uncle sent him a card drawing your stream as a diagonal line thus. Events and perceptions are elastic in time. Shocked, the 4-year-old boy found it difficult to believe. His dream was much more even in outline, even thus. This was the earliest realization that he remembered. Now, next little autobiographical piece is called, it's in prose, it's called Mugapu. Let's take a bit of water. This one. Mugapu. My first encounter with Mugapu was at a staff meeting of the village school. He came in and sat down among us at the table. Only a little more ragged than the rest of us, and accepted by all, I thought he was another member of staff. Mugapu, as it turned out, had one word of English, was. When he got excited, he would string a lot of wases together like this. Wasity, 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 was. He was speaking English, according to himself. And in a sense, he was. And Dade Bosa was reading the minutes. Indeed, he was reading the minutes from what seemed a blank page, his head tilted to one side and his eyes closed. Suddenly, Mugapu started speaking English. There was a pause, then Dade Bosa, smiling slowly, moving his head a little and resting his eyes gently on Mugapu, began to recite a strange litany. It was the names of all the little villages along the route to the faraway town. This had a powerfully calming effect. Mugapu, it seems, now in his child's mind, was speeding along the yellow dust track in some jalopy towards town, Gagaloi in his own language. This was his great passion in life. Now, how many times have I used the word was so far here? In other words, how much of this might interest Mugapu? Wherever he is now, I wish him well, or perhaps more likely, he's long dead. He had special privileges in his community, coming and going from household to household, compound to compound, never hungry, rarely short of a little change for loose tobacco, which he stuffed into the empty cartridge of a plastic barrel and smoked somehow, or pretended to, riding the buses hither and thither for free on their precipitous journeys over the mountains, and joining the women in the fields and children in the just to play. Was. And I'll finish now with this from the same book in progress. Here is the news and weather. Pluck a string, wait, repeat, vary. Put a plum on a plate, get the brushes out, clear the mind, pare an apple, get stuck in, if the source be close. Here is the news and weather. A thin slice in time through a rising population. They call it intercultural post-media studies. We seem dumb. Here is the news and weather. When the sun swells up and burns off oceans and human cultures, if not long, long gone by then, incinerate, and your home planet and histories and languages and talents and pitiful bitternesses vanish with in uncountable myriad intricately beautiful microscopic diatoms. And poetry, of course, fizzles to ash, and its ash is swept forever away. Then, here is the news and weather. And so on that cheery note, I thank you. You can clap it if you want.
Thank you so much, Maurice. That was great. Give it up again for Maurice. Thank you very much. And thanks again to Ayres for joining us via Zoom. We're going to take a 15-minute break now, and then after that there's going to be the open mic. So if anybody would like to read on the open mic, you can come up here and put your name down. And yeah, enjoy your break. And thank you so much again to Maurice and Jane.
I'm worried that 15 is going to make people nuts.
Okay, 10.
Well, let's make sure we start at no more than 15 this time.
Okay, yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
like 14, kick it off.
Okay.
Oh yeah, so we're on a like no,
and actually makes everything leave it on. And then you change it, it doesn't have to. Yeah, yeah.
I did, but like Yeah, we're so I don't know if I'm happy. It's just there's like no competition to be had. I would like to leave that. They're kind of being so challenged like teenagers so just sounds great for us. I know exactly, and I just I don't mind what I should say and then above the kid and just go yeah, if you offer we kind of ring back to home and then say
I mean, besides of the games and everything. That's why I'm asking, because I thought that maybe the one
I hope you enjoyed your break and feel nice and refreshed. Okay. So we're going to begin because we have an action-packed open mic for you all.
Sorry. The lady in Greece, you have to go first. It's very late there.
Okay, here's the first lady in Greece that's going to go first. I am from Zoom, and so please give it up for Alexandra.
Thank you. Flying 12 from the Flying series. If you're looking for the supreme resurrection of a passion, try finding it in a vision's flare. Volcanoes lava erupting from Earth's womb. Battle cry, heroic exodus. Breaking all boundaries, achieving the impossible. Invisible and visible entities striving to rise above life and death. Above narrow values, widening narrow paradises. Wider and wider along the protein journey. Monad, dyad, antithesis, and new synthesis. From each center, expanding and fulfilling discovery and power. If you are looking for the finest quality of a creation, try finding it in a divine spark. Immortality's rays enlightening mortals' minds. Etheric castric bodies, everlasting vitality. Outgrowing every ugliness, guided by beauty. Thoughts, words, arts, giving birth to glorious civilizations. Challenging horizons, freeing from disillusions. Freer and freer along the expansion of Genesis. Logic, principles, discipline, and equals. Wisdom constructing justice, wholeness, and completion. If you are looking for the sweet manifestation of a miracle, try finding it in the human heart flame. Vibrations as rhymes synchronizing with universe's euphony. Endless cycles of sorrow and joy. Hope's momentum waning and flaxing. Waterfalls of emotions plunging down the steep cliffs of our existence. Light brightening through darkness. Brighter and brighter along our sacred friendships. Seasons, leaves, flowers, and patterns. Warding off evil, regenerating, harmonizing strength and immunity. If you are looking for the archetype of a deity, try finding it in the human soul flame. Earth's devotion, endlessly rotating sun's source. The great absolute energy, propeller of all life. Whirlpooling through humans and stars. Seas of sunlight uniting with skies of fire. Stellar symbols heightening cosmic chants. Higher and higher along the mystic path. Water, earth, air, fire, and ideas. Worlds and heavens dividing and uniting in divine proportions. If you are looking for the magical journey of a flight, try finding it in an inner euphoria. Mystical self-revelations taking us up to Empyrean worlds. Thank you.
Next up we have Catherine Ronan.
Jailbird, you permit me to walk your ramparts, but I want to descend to your old town, crawl with womanhood all over the cobbled streets, lick your walls. Time to wander into that vintage shop. Inhale your memory of perfume. Dab scent on my pulsing wrists. Finger the silk scars of your fragrant past. I sip brandy in walled bars. Interrogate ghosts of your half-loves. Slink down alleys with stray cats you own. I kneel in your medieval cathedral. Light every single waxed candle. Take the keys from your belt. Unlock the groaning gates. Let my jail rush in.
Thank you very much, Catherine. Great. Next we have Ryan.
I know, I'm sorry. This is called Taking Apart Descartes. What is the mind that squats behind these primate eyes? Is it an ape in disguise? It swings among the strings that are hung and the springs which are strung twixt vision and tongue since I was young, flinging dung and yelling to everyone, cogito ergo sum. The point of awareness that anoints my consciousness is a depthly half-wit, but what exactly is it? This flashlight inside that desires to thrill ride down life's free will slide, all wide-eyed and wide astride the mind-body divide, till it's time to hide, afraid it'll be crucified, to anxiety tied, left high to die unidentified on the wayside. What is this thing that can laugh and sing and cannot stop thinking even as it is sinking? From whence did it come? It can be senseless and dumb or nervously numb, but other times overcome the hurdles of life, its curdles and strife. They're certainly rife, and we all know they hurt like a knife. Yet it can ponder, puzzle to get beyond the trouble. Is it just a knotted bundle of neurons in the prefrontal cortex of my cerebrum? Or is it from the Garden of Eden? Is it the fingerprint of a divine touch, or merely instinct compiled in a clutch of a seemingly cognizant and aware personality that's not present or there, but is rather a sensory processing array grown sufficiently complex to say, I am, like Yahweh in the desert to Moses? Or is it no more than a deluded apotheosis of firing synapses and neurochemistry, inspiring mirages that there is a real me? Or a blinking amalgam of glands in sync? I think, therefore I am, or I am, therefore I think.
Great, thank you so much. Next up, we'll go to Zoom, and we have Scully. Just 1 second.
Oh, he's being knocked out.
Okay. Well, then we will go to the room, and it's Daniel.
So I wrote this one last time I was in Dublin Airport, which was a while back. And yeah, I was in a different headspace there. But anyway, every time I go to Dublin Airport and I see that sign for swords, I always think it says S words. So this is S words. Some S words slice deeper than others, but maybe it seems that way because I'm more sensitive than they are severe. Though I have the scars to show That something was close enough to stab, and I can recall the sting of skin breaking and the itch of the healing begging me to scratch so I could feel it again, penitent. The silent sinner keeping secrets, the stigma that comes with self-doubt. And I can't recall if I'm to blame. Am I the saboteur or the sabotaged? Signals getting crossed between the synapses of sorrow and shame and shame and shame, skipping like an echo in a tunnel that never seems to end. Though there is that light, shining steadily, showing me the way. And sometimes I just want to scream, but I sit still and I try to sound out syllables of simple spells, as if I could summon someone, but then there you are. You seem sincere. And if I sound scared or psychotic for a spin, it's just to say, seriously, I like you. And please, stay.
Thank you very much. Now I will forever think of S words every time I hear the word design. We'll stay in the room. And is it Ayres? Ayres, my apologies. Ayres. Yeah.
Hello. Because this is recorded, I'm going to spell out my name, just because you couldn't possibly guess the spelling of it, so bear with me. So just if anyone wants to find me, it's Eidhlis and Beirne, and then my Instagram is Eilish_Byrne, just so it's there. Yeah, I don't breathe very well. This poem is kind of like that. And it's called Unspeakable. It dies again and again in my lungs, like an inescapable day that keeps repeating and repeating and repeating and repeating and sometimes it feels like I may suffocate in my own body. Try to breathe life into 4 concrete walls. Try to make them move like a wing beat. Try to have them ripple like a lake in response to anything. Try to encourage them to relax from a fist to an open palm. Try to tell them that a weapon raised overhead turns every silky ribbon of muscle to solid steel bars. Try. Go on. Give it a go. Did you notice how you end up screaming in a room no one else can enter because it exists only in you? Yesterday, I inspected my vagina in the mirror. With folds of skin pushed back like curtains, it looked as if I'd been stabbed right through. A raw and gaping, linear open wound. But it just looks like that. It isn't proof.
Great. Oh, sorry, you wrote pronunciation here. I did not see that, but I will remember for next time. So thank you very much. Will we go to Zoom now or stay in the room?
I'll stay in the room, I think.
Okay, so next up is Felix O'Malley.
Hello. This is a poem in 3 parts, and it is the first poem I ever wrote for the man who recently said yes when I asked him to marry me. So clearly it is something. This is Unofficial Diagnosis. A dead night, a smothering silence, crack of thunder and boom of lightning in the sky far west. Great light shows that spin all sense of senselessness into a flurry, and what beauty these lights show. Sparks where no fire had yet seen daylight, rainbows above mountains where drought had always lived. A glowing star descended upon the earth, billions of places to visit, and yet it chose to come to me. A star is quite hot, you see, and the further in you go, the hotter it gets. Our sun starts at 5,800 degrees Celsius, but by the time you reach the center and have long since shriveled from the heat, you're at 15 million degrees. But your surface temperature must be at least twice that of the sun's core. I know you've had a fever recently, but that's not what I mean. I simply want to point out the fact that you've blinded me with your beauty time and time again, and I wouldn't mind getting closer to your soul, even if it does mean I'll burn you a crisp in the process. To be honest, I quite like crisps. And this is one star that I could never get tired of staring at. Right. Let me tell you, there's nothing in the world that takes my breath away quite so much as you, and I'm asthmatic. But you can keep that breath, store it in a jar on a shelf, or throw it away without a second glance. It's yours to do with as you please. You can let it breathe for you if you want. Part 3. They say you can't say you have a condition or syndrome or illness without an official diagnosis. They say claiming to be autistic or disabled or etc. is unfair and untrue if a medical professional didn't say it. Well, I never claimed to be alive until you diagnosed me with a serious case of existence. And I don't think you're a doctor, but by fuck, if this isn't living, then I don't know what is. If I need a diagnosis to exist, then please keep renewing my prescription, because I don't think I can go back to being normal after living in a world with you. You've already stolen my breath and blinded my soul, so please don't let me stop existing.
Oh, thank you so much, and congratulations. Great. So now we'll have on Zoom and Fongo. It is with
Hello again, everybody. Happy to be here. I've got a fresh poem, not too fresh, but still fresh. And it has a bit of a backstory to it. So when I first came to Sierra Leone, I discovered that most people drink their water from these plastic sachets. That's a topic for another day, because the plastic is one use. So they get this water from those vans that go around selling the water. So those vans, to get people's attention, they've recorded this thing that is a loop. And in my community, they usually sell the water right outside my gate, and really there isn't anything I can do much about it. So they have this thing recorded, and it's very annoying. During the first days in Sierra Leone, it was really annoying me, and it went like, "Water, water, water, you don't buy your water, thank you, God bless you." So every morning at 6, like, he had this megaphone that was repeating this, until I told myself, you know what, I'm gonna do something about it. I'm gonna write about it. So I wrote this poem. Water, 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 drink your water. It won't kill you like alcohol. Water, 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 drink your water. It won't kill you like alcohol. Wine, beer, and all things alcohol. You don't drink that shit, you sell it. Yet here I am on my 3rd bottle of gin. I'm still standing. 106.88 is the bill, and I'm still spending, cause my problems are 2000 BC big. So I drown them, get lit with the gang, frying our livers. We do not need them. We live for the moment, choo-choo smoking like it's 1787. William Reynolds would be proud of us. Rewind and start again. Wine, beer, and all things alcohol. They are making me millions, so why don't you enjoy the Super Bowl with the Budweiser? Connect with your friends over a castle. Peace on your marriage after a music. Whoa. Those companies should pay me to name drop them. See, I am a pendulum in the making. Unlike their buckled piece, I am not toxic. I do not promise joy in the weekend. With me, it's daily, hourly, and you don't need to drink me. Just read or listen. I can make you a glitch in the system without a red pill. Just that little red book, a product of this red fire that burns at the base of my spinal cord. Peace.
Thank you so much. Something that we can relate to in this bar as we drink. Thank you. That was great. Okay, we're going to stay in the room now, and next up is Simple.
Well, I was tempted to read one of my Schramm translations, but Maurice Scully has left. He's actually kind of, at the root of what might be a slight continuation of the futurist expressionist branches that made it to Ireland. So he's one of the people in my book at the very end of the essay. Anyway, I'm not going to do a Schramm translation now. I'm just going to do a piece that's recently workshopped. And I hope it's better now. The erosion of faith. Like fools, we exchange the exuberance of light for darkness, as we pluck the stars for fortune to hoard them in our homes. The tabernacle of our hearts is left void, open, gaping, after the remains of the sacred have ruthlessly been ripped out. We tumble in awkward flight, flailing our wings to stop falling, as the dark with groping hands tries hard to drag us back down. Judgmental secular frowns on everything sacred and bright have for long brought about the erosion of our true faith. We seek a belief that is new, a spiritual direction that's truer. Come make the brightness grow and release the stars from home to fill the tabernacle of our hearts with the light of new sacred relics, and the infinite flow of our days with a rhythm of new rites.
Thank you very much, Sue. Next up is Cedric Bihan.
So I was recently in Berlin just for 24 hours, just about, and I used that time basically to walk around and see what most people would probably see the war, and that inspired a piece here. I will probably work on it more, but that's the first draft. Summer has officially ended, but the sun is still up and burning. It's hot. The world bound these tones of grey and faded colors. The sight of deep-rooted depression with a grip on millions of brains, running their subconscious collective minds. Even the high-rise stick out like skin tags of scarring tissue. It's a hard sight to unsee, and I'm barely in. With a lengthy walk along the veins of this city, eventually the wound appears. The assault have ended decades ago, but the blade is still in, sticking out, showing the divide. I feel lucky to have been spared from the blood and thunder that the war represents. I heard of the collapse long after the strikes, the hatred and resentment excised, only to be replaced by greed disguised as a cure to heal a nation. How many bodies apart? How many summers split, with for only common experience the heat and the occasional storms, the claps and the losses. I ponder, worry, wonder, feeling more human than ever. This is a memory that came to me through misery. It's not mine. I cannot afford to forget it. Because it is November now, and it's hot. The next year will be hotter, and with the warmth eventually will come the thunder. How far will I be from the thunder strike this time?
Thanks very much, Cedric. That's really great. We will stay in the room now and we'll start with Michelle today.
You guys, thanks for your poems. Hot tap. You always brushed your teeth with the hot tap. I preferred the cold. I winced at bristles getting under loosened gums. At the attic sink, we'd froth, playing thermostat tennis, always flinching when I'd reach to turn the temperature down, when you threatened to spit on me. Don't make me laugh through the mirror with the lukewarm pool on my mouth, or it'll leave drippy milk stains all on the belly of your shirt. Now a big bowl and stiffer brush cause bleeding, fingers spatting on the bowl beneath me. I scrub and oust my motherly slip, cutting your bread and rocking you to sleep. I gag and purge eternal dreams of your bravery. I rake the tongue that told you everything. Thank you.
Okay, next up, we might jump on Zoom if Seamus Harrington is ready to go. Yeah, great stuff.
Okay, thank you very much. Hi Maurice, long time no see. This is a little bit late, but it's that time of the year again. Well, it was 2 weeks ago. This is called jamming. Snare drums rattling, trombone zoom, tenor sax screaming, double bass boom, guitars twanging from electric heights, chimes still tinkle to muted lights, silver flutes tootle, percussions brush, clarinets warble to alto sax gush, trumpet calling, tambourines jing, hi-hat lifting to cowbells ring. The sirens blare, notes so shrill, harmonicas bleat to whistles trill. Banjos rat-a-tat will curtly reply to conch shell echo of piccolo high. Xylophones hit, but tubas rude, bongos rhythm, get in the mood. Keyboards persisting, notes so brash, French horns burping, cymbals crash. Oboes blending as fiddles in sync, give jiving cats no time to think, maybe that's jazz.
Thank you. It was a smooth cat, Seamus Harrington. Great. Thanks, Seamus. Next up is Patricia Walsh.
This is called pressurized container.
Walking through windows, fixing the glare, mere summer's reckoning on the perfect track. Cautiously surmising the excellent station, recycled scenarios rumbled through another purpose, watching rare flowers be plucked and gone. Parking recriminations, and evicted honesty. Sorted cover versions, keeping the masses sweet. Some induced debt runs through the massive. The mild thunderstorm rules in the shadow end. One extra commandment, loved over once. It's not brilliant exercise, rising over fault, dark midday giving over. Salted sweet things, the best of a bad lot. Consistent God talk, exposing the divisions. Demon possessed are just another bad joke. The closest to alcohol on a perfected day. The singular cold suffered through bedtime. Cracking open skulls to gather information. The hassle-free existence is all that is hoped for. Exercise for sound, the bigger the call out. Each one's own business, ending too well. Finished with sleep, the costume jewelry theme, overdressed for purpose, or an inch for favour. Thanks.
Great stuff. Thanks very much, Patricia. And next up is Jim Crickard.
So this is when like you're stuck in a corner and someone is going on and on and on and questioning your existence.
When you're left.
And it's called An Ode to Those Who Ramble. It's not really an ode though. You speak in endless symphonies. I'm looking through opera binoculars because I'm trying to find the punchline. I pretend to understand and clap my hands as you obstinato in your one-man show. Words are flying from your mouth and stacking upon themselves into an ever-growing emporium. A great dome of glass I stand in, marveling at the size of your voice. I'm truly in awe that you're still going. Where do you get all the sentences from? You are a magician pulling words out of a magic hat. I have been in the audience so long, I'm covered in cobwebs. I chime in with conversation changes of my own, but you take them hostage and roam into everything you've ever known about them, until they have all been torn along the ground. You have ruined everything I love. It is 17 minutes since I have spoken. I'm swimming in words and he doesn't notice the spiraling existential nausea I'm in. I'm disassociating and leaving behind this blind and deaf man to prattle on to a room of empty chairs. It's not like I'm needed here.
Thanks, Jim. Great stuff. Next up is Cathal Holden.
How are you guys? Geez, I'm glad I went just after Jim, and not before, because I'm about to do a really fucking long one. On that note, can I do a long one? About 7 minutes, would that be okay? Sweet. So I'm working on a project at the moment that's retelling the Book of Invasions. It's a bit of crack. These are mental stories. This one is chapter 2. So we've already gone through Kesser, who's the first person in Ireland. She was the granddaughter of Noah, or so the monks. But I might be a bit spurious. But this Fintan. Fintan is a mental story. Jesus, it's wild. And I had a lot of crack writing it. I am Fintan, whose soul is Ireland's memory. She has kept me to her bosom through ages beyond measure. and my spirit is caught in her shape. I know her as the hare in the bracken. I know her as salmon in the stream. I know her as a hind in the forest. I know her as a hawk shrieking on the wind, a wolf in the full stretch of chase. I know her as none other ever shall. I am transformation's master. I change with the tides, the comings and goings of the moon in the sky. I know not death. I know only to remember. I live so that others may die, that they may forget all that they learn in this world as they pass to the next. The fair flame am I, Finn Tinna, beloved of women and war chiefs alike. To Ireland I voyaged with Kesser, Sperban, and Kushla, as Kishtam Store. I will tell you how we came. I will recall it all for you. It is my story. It is the story of Ireland. We left my aged grandfather-in-law, that flood-mongering zookeeper, to wander in the land of Eden's twin rivers. They say Kesser raised an idol in Egypt then. This is true. It is false also. She walked with the earth, and communed with the waters themselves, there in the land that is ruled by water's will. For it is our way that all things have wise souls, a part of the living divine whole. They told her what was coming as surely as a shepherd reads the sky, as I tell you what has been. We were many years sailing before we landed at Bantry. By North Africa we went, into Spain and Gaul. Our journeys were so many it would delay my recount to relay them all. We made our way to Ireland through much travail. Ladra the sailor was pierced through the thigh with a broken oar at Bantry and died, leaving Beh and I to divide the 50 women between us. Beh was an old man, motive from Noah himself, was not fit for the role of stud. Many times have I told the story of the takings of these lands, and here I preach the value of moderation in all things, for it was a death of excess that came to Beh. Kesser was my treasure, a river to me of love and of joy. I've lived forever, none could compare. Yet in truth, I was not pulled from her settle by force, at least not at first. I left quietly, the darkness when the fire was low, and what was needful was not hateful to me. The breaking sun found me laying in strange beds, sleeping late into the day. It is true that one's peace may last until another's tears. When I returned to my love, she would not meet my eye, even to scorn. She was sorrow and water, Sam Finn Tinna, the white fire, and her grief ran deep and cold through my heart. I abandoned the others, retreated to our hearth. This was a fatal mistake. We thought to outrun the waves. These stories are crazy, just like this is how it happens. This is what the notes wrote down like. We thought to outrun the waves themselves in Ireland. Instead, we stirred up another force, madness. A desperation went through the women of Kesser. A fierce lunacy gripped them, and they laid siege on me in the arms of my love. They chased me from her. I ran from them. The length of Ireland we went, and such a sight as us was never seen before or since. Fintan the magician hurtling through the land with 50 heat-crazed women hard on his tail. I led them roughshod through the country, over hills and rivers, past the great sea cliffs of Moor, where falcons wheeled after nesting puffins, to Ferreter's Cove, with the women tearing at my heels like hounds, through Scotia's Glen, where in age yet to come they would lay to rest the Pharaoh's daughter. By Cashel we went, and it was but a rock. My pursuers nearly had me upon it. I slipped open my brooch and I fought over my cloak as I fled. To Brown Coolin next, where bellowing across the valley to each other were enormous deer with antlers that like the cross of 2 tall men, primeval creatures that must all have drowned in the flood. Ireland herself was different then. She had no company but her own since the day of creation, and heaved with wild and wet, fertile living breath. Erin was as covered in trees as a pheasant is with feathers. The women were a skilled pursuit. If I ran upstream, they had my scent. If I went backwards through the mud, they saw through my deceit. If I went to the treetops, they were behind me like so many squirrels, mad with chase. I feared for my life, and Lynn and little Finton. I led them past Ben Bulden, through the Cada fields and down to Con. When we met the River Shannon, my clothes were tattered, my body exhausted and my spirit weak. I could not survive a final stand. Alba and Aspa I saw coming for me, Inker and Dub before them, the pack behind, tearing at their own garments, anticipating my capture. I took a running leap and cleared the bank of the river in a bound. In desperation, I called out to high magic, and mid-air I transformed into a great silver salmon, slipping under the waters and away, leaving the howling troop half bare behind me in the rushes. Down the river I went, down the thundering Shannon, a silver streak at one with water. We finish her out. I traversed the river in a day. Well, it's a nice place to leave it, actually, I feel. Like Finton, he's a fish now. That's how he deals with his problems. It's a diplomatic, you know. You know what, we'll leave Finton there. There is more to the story. I'll be putting these online at some point, but there's not too much more. We'll leave Finton soon down the river. Thanks, guys.
That what inspired that Link said, you know, where the man all the women were chasing him. You should do an audiobook on it. Your voice is perfect for stories. You broke the space-time continuum and you came from all Ireland to deliver this lovely story. So thank you. Next up is Margaret O'Regan.
This one, though I called it nostalgia, it's about a moment in time now, and I was imagining looking back at it in about 10 years' time. So it's nostalgia. From the top deck, the bus passes. My house then, I see the top window. Oh, the flashes of memory. Still, you behind, me looking out at the bus, passing bus, just like now, reversed in space and time. I'm transported back, feeling you, feeling me.
Thank you so much, Margaret. That's lovely. Next up is Phil Spillane.
Yeah.
Others can give you moon dust, the cosmic garden in the palm of your hands, brief or forever. Yes, I am trying. I have no idea what I am doing. There is no gravity to this game. It is cold. The physics give some order. Sometimes I don't want to swim with the tide, but drown. Sink into your breast and cry. Feel like the luckiest star. I found harmony in one significant other, a mirror of intimacy transaction. It seems it's reality of others, their ecstasy, where they are right, and I dwell in dreams. Clouded, sorry that others can give you moon dust. You are better off. Tired, I stop swimming, and poems end, and poems end, and poems end, and poems end. Thank you.
Next up we have Maria Wood.
This is not a happy poem. It was Remembrance Sunday recently, and some years ago I was watching lots of documentaries about the First World War and how many Irish, there was loads of Irish people there, not just British. And I just thought how terrible it was. And then, of course, Ukraine has happened. And I know it's different imagery, but it's still horrific. Remember, baby-faced young lads whose cheeks had not yet encountered a razor and seldom a woman's flesh, now frowned and crumpled in pain, fear, and disgust. Their senses harvesting an evil beyond measure. Rats in their hundreds feasted on human flesh, grew to the size of cats, whilst the stench of human defecation and decay caused fresh vomit to temporarily colour the slimy, bloody black mud. More vermin sped to that hot takeaway. Human cargo sent over the top to gain a yard or two of no man's land. For what? For what? Spared them the ridicule of receiving a white feather. Such shame would encompass the whole family. For king and country you soiled your trousers, lost limbs, pieces of your face, got gassed, half starved, infested with lice, neglected of fundamental creature comforts, never ever to be the same again. If the bullets, shrapnel or gas didn't get you, Spanish flu might. Was there really a God? Only God knows.
Next up we have Mo Bennett.
Thank you very much, thank you. Here's a poem called Death Camp Survivors. And I was in Israel in 2003, I wrote this poem. So, we, the rest of the world, stood by and watched the smoke from Oakswich. The movie town news showed The Walking Dead, but we turned them away. Only a handful allowed in the land of the brave and the free, and the home of the free, where the braves were held in reservations. We, the rest of the world, looked away as the empire gave away the stolen land and left. We armed the death camp survivors, and they in turn erected their own barbed wire. We blessed the new state and never wondered how long it would take till the new camp festered and exploded like the rockets over Gaza. When towers came crashing down, we wondered who would hate us enough to destroy our way of life. We sought the weapons of mass destruction, while the mass destruction of our people went unnoticed. Like the smoke from Oakswich, we thought it would go away.
Thank you very much, Mo. Is there anybody else online who would like to do this one? Is there anybody else in the room? Yeah.
All right, I'll keep it simple because I'm a little bit drunk.
Simply drunk.
Simply drunk. This is called Eventually Nothing. I will rest my little head on your breast, the final hour ere I die. The colours in my mind, the grey clouds passing by. Between the two, I know of nothing, I confess. I rest my head on your lap, the minutes, the seconds, the eventual nothing. Thank you.
think Phil might have a poem. Do you want to ask him?
Phil online might have a poem.
He just appeared there briefly.
Oh, hi. I wasn't planning it, but I'll try a short one. It's called Drifters. We are drifters, shifting in shadows of doubt, lost in a landscape of half-withered thought. We talk to everyone and no one. We argue with ourselves about how we got here and why. We fantasize our lives into what we are not, because we do not know what we are. It feels good in the moment, until the moment passes, and we are adrift again, in the unsettled space between our state of being and how it will end. That's the end. Thank you.
Very much, Phil. Anybody else in the room? Tracy? Yeah.
Well, people are doing stuff drunk, I guess I don't have an excuse. I haven't done this one in public, so we'll see. I can only be boisterous, using my voice when I used to be voiceless, choosing a choice when I used to be choiceless, and I'm still reeling from feeling the full weight of the world, for Atlas shrugged me the globe as he did Heracles, saying, "Here, you hoist this." In respect to those whose words are measured and exacting, bedecked in fine garments, the treasured trappings of true rap kings. And here I thought I was so clever, spending my days crafting my wax wings. But the sun's beams proved to be forever too taxing, and it was sick and strange to smell the tang of stricken flames, and far below I could see the swell of sea spray splashing and crashing. And just when tight reins to grasp for what I needed most, on my right passed a chariot driven by Helios. And it goes like this, a pseudo-Icarus. Yes, the rush was fun as my fingertips brushed the sun, yet I was almost undone by the subsequent plunge. And I'm just a sun-stroked dumb bloke, but with one hope. When I'm done, they'll never say anything I wrote was wrote or note or wrote or note or one note. And you can wax poetic, painting pictures too vast for those who don't get it. But Fisher can also wane poetic, knowing the supposed pain from strictures for structure until you became prophetic. What?
Anybody else? Don't usually do that.
Do what?
Return to the mic. No, I'm afraid not. But next month, come back and we can't wait to hear you. I didn't know the answer to that either, so thank you. Okay, I'll do a poem if nobody opposes. Hopefully I remember it. And maybe somebody can read it. For a freelance artist, small talk can feel like jousting. A lance to the chest is often felt with the inevitable question, what do you do yourself? I get tongue-tied. Consider lying, but before there's time, the truth spills out. I'm a writer. The word hovers like a baby bird that Margaret. I'm gonna rejig that because I couldn't. Okay. For a freelance artist, small talk can feel like jousting. A lance to the chest is often felt with the inevitable question, what do you do yourself? I get tongue-tied, consider lying, but before there's time, the truth spills out. I'm a writer. The word hovers like a baby bird that's lost its mother. Oh, my inquisitor exclaims. Mentally, I put on my chainmail, helmet, and breastplate to protect my fragile ego. Here we go. Is that your job? Like, this grilling is like a crusade. Now I must plead my case. I do write every day, but in the eyes of, say, a bank manager, I'm only a sort of kind of sometimes writer, more of a shopkeeper, barista, teacher, basically just a drifter. But those things are just what I do, sometimes. They're not how I identify. I'll need to bide more time before giving a reply. Sorry, what was the question? They repeat it. They are relentless. Like a bloodhound sniffing a bone, Rilke proposed for artists to search their deepest wells, then ask themselves in the middle of the night, must I write? If the answer is a resounding yes, then you are a true artist, and you must take that destiny and bear it, its burden and its greatness, without ever asking what recompense might come from outside. So yes, in the eyes of Rainer Maria Rilke, and in my personal opinion, I am a writer. I shout for some reason. Too loud and too bold. I can tell by their tone they are skeptical. I bet they think I'm delusional or entitled, that I should do something more worthwhile, not spend an inordinate amount of time rhyming and Googling synonyms when I could be out rescuing children or something. You're probably right. I'm not even that productive. Not like all those other more writery writers who are obviously much, much better, smarter, more charismatic, more attractive. Wait, how is that important? I don't know, but I'm starting to panic and I just want to go home. And why must we disclose our income and life's goals upon first meeting? It's rude and narcissistic. In fact, it's twisted. No, it's sick. It's... Hold on. This person is only making conversation. They don't know your frustration. That because art is seen as frivolous to some, you've got a dose of imposter syndrome paired with an inferiority complex because of how we assess success, but all of that is a lot to address in a few seconds of small chat. So just relax, stop projecting, and answer the goddamn question. Oh, they're gone. It's taken too long to respond. What? Jeez, I haven't done that in a while, Brad. I'll have to go through my files at home to pull that out. But I may as well, if you do want to see more poems by me and Jim Prickard and everybody else competing in the All Ireland Slam. Well, I'm not competing, I'm just performing. No, because I won last time. I've had the title for years, so you can see them steal it, or not steal it, pry it out of my cold dead hands. The Winter Warmer Festival, which is the end of the month, and the program for the full festival is online, or there's some pamphlets around, and you can check that out because it would be great. If that is it for the open mic, well then, yeah, and thank you very much to our two poets, Jane Ayres and Maurice Scully. And come on, Maurice! Well done to Ryan, our 5-word winner. Thank you very much to everybody who read on the 5 words, everybody who read on the open mic, everyone who joined us on Zoom, and everyone who's brave elements to join us here IRL. So the night will continue. All remains if anybody wants to head over there and keep their poetry party going. And if not, that is it for the evening. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Shona. See it? There? Doesn't work. It took 4 hours to warm up. 4 hours after I started, it took 4 hours setup. And the first thing I do is put that up. It only takes half an hour to warm up. 4 hours before it works. Put it to work. It stopped working. So this is why this is turned like this. We're using this microphone here.
Wow.
Yeah, so I have no choice. I have no choice. I have to go there. I'm going to fly to Nuremberg. The only way I can do it is on Sunday night at 10 o'clock. I have to. I'll be back on Tuesday morning. Otherwise, tomorrow morning, I'm going to try and see if there are any of the rental places who actually rent me a digital condenser mic. But they weren't, they didn't rent those. They rent you radio mics and stuff, not computer or digital mics.